Very hurt right now. The way that I feel so hurt, so betrayed, so triggered right now, and so alone and so in need of a hug. All things that are like low vibration. I don't want to feel this way again. And usually for me, the solution to this kind of thing to prevent this kind of feeling again is to keep people at arm's length. Because how can they hurt you if they can't get to you? So here's the story. And by the way, the time is 7:30 in the morning of October 28. Wow, 2023. What did I want to say? There was one more thing that I wanted to add. Oh, the day. It's Saturday morning. For the record, doing this recording was not my bingo card today. I'm going to try and keep it short and simple. I'm very hurt right now. And have you ever woken up feeling so good? I sprung out of bed. I was feeling so good. I was dancing everywhere. And I was like, my gosh, it's been so long since I've felt this way. I didn't even realize it. I was like, am I well rested? Am I bipolar? Like, what is happening? And I feel like I don't even actually really want to talk about this now all of a sudden. It's this whole thing of doing these recordings is so therapeutic to me. And I've said this so many times before, I think that the moment I start even doing the recording, I almost immediately start feeling better, for the most part. But I think that I'm going to do this recording because it's like a journal entry, and then maybe I'm going to look back to it and be like, that is when I made that decision. Because I think that the way that I feel so hurt, so betrayed, so triggered right now, and so alone and so in need of a hug. All things that are like low vibration. I don't want to feel this way again. And usually for me, the solution to this kind of thing to prevent this kind of feeling again is to keep people at arm's length. Because how can they hurt you if they can't get to you? I don't think they can, right? So I live for my family. That is the most important part of my life, apart from my own, obviously. But sometimes I tend to put them before me in my emotional, spiritual sphere. I don't know if they realize that because they have their own problems. They probably think that they need and deserve and want and could have more from me than I'm giving. Are they saying it? No. So there you have it. Am I psychic? Kind of. When I was in South Africa last year, this is almost exactly a year ago, we went for dinner. Oh, I really don't want to talk about this. It's so low vibration. So my niece and my sister, the mom of the niece, took me out on, when they talk about the struggle, it's real. The time right now is 5 o'clock in the morning of 2023, October 30th. It's Halloween tomorrow. Boo. I really don't want to be doing this right now, but let me. Yes, last time we left off within only a couple of minutes because I was going through it. It's something that happened last year, so this is probably going to be long. Last year, 2022, November, I went to South Africa to visit my family. I stayed at 3 different homes of said family during that vacation, which was several weeks. One of the places where I stayed, my hosts, i.e. my family, had pre-arranged a nice dinner at a nice restaurant, which was really nice. It's like, wow, we're going to a nice restaurant, right? It's not something that I do often. So we all went. Two of them are my niece and my sister. And there was one other family member. That family member came along, but my niece and my sister are the ones behind the booking. When we were at the restaurant, on our way there, I insisted that I pay my share because I'm rich. And we then, when it was time to book, I said, knowing that the third family member, which is the fourth, so we'll call this person X, knowing that X is not working at the time and does tend to lean towards the narcissistic side, and also, well, I guess that covers a lot of it. They tend to be self-serving and selfish and will treat every moment as if it's their birthday that you're throwing for them, whether it's close to that or not. So I was like, so do we have a budget? I didn't care about a budget. I was going to pay for myself. I'm on vacation, and it's South African rand versus US dollars. However, I know X, and I don't want that. I don't want the two that are going to be paying for X's meal, who happen to be here by default, to suffer. So everyone said, okay, you know what, let's say $1,000 was, it wasn't, but let's go with that amount. Okay, 1,000 rand, which is South African currency. Just so you know, fun fact, equivalent of about 20, what? $1,000. How much is that in rand? In dollars? Divide by 20. 1,000 divided by 20. $50. Dang. $50. So we sat there. Damn, is it really? 50 times. I guess. Dang. It was actually more than that. We paid so much. Yeah, it was a fancy restaurant. So we sat there, and the ex was flirting with the server and just whispering to them, bring me another thing to eat, another thing of alcohol, another thing. And then when the person walks away, the server walks away, X would say, oh, okay, don't forget that Coke, okay? Ha, ha, ha. But, like, it's not a Coke. It's an expensive alcoholic beverage. And then X just kept them coming. Of course, the server wants you to keep ordering because how little is money in their pocket. And that it was so annoying because X was sitting right next to me and I knew what they were doing. And it was kind of like making a mockery of the whole event and also mocking the people who are going to be paying because you think that they're dumb enough that they think that you really are ordering Coke, a cola, which doesn't even look like Coca-Cola because the drink that you're ordering is not even mixed with Coke, with like, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God. And then the bill came. And everyone's bill was more or less 1,000, and X's bill was 2,000. Because, duh. X is the one that's not paying, and X ordered more than everybody else, and it's not X's birthday or anything. X didn't just fly 36 hours from America with a 10-hour layover in the Middle East. So here we go. So bothered, so rubbed off, so just like, And if you don't know, but something about our culture, being Black South Africans, I'm going to speak for us. One of my family members and I have talked about this, we talk about it often, is very training towards the men to be bums and be losers and be users, and for the women to enable it. Because why are these two great, smart women? My niece, by the way, is not 5 years old. She's like in her 30s. So both she and my sister work, hence why they were going to pay. So instead of dividing the bill, I wasn't going to pay specifically for what I ate. We just divided it by 3. That's one of the reasons I asked what the bill was going to be, what the budget was going to be. Because it's like, okay, if we all order more or less around that, I didn't care what it was going to be, but I just, like I said. So I said, oh, okay, let's just divide it by 3. But then when I realized I went straight to the alcohol side, and I was like, this is wild. Like, I was like, I'm not dividing this by 3 between the 3 who are paying, because there's 4 of us. I'm dividing it, but I'm paying what the budget was, because I saw that what I ate was around that. And then the 2 of them who are enablers, who are pretending to be nice, pretending that none of this is happening, can pay 2 for 2 people each, because who cares about the math? But if you care about the math, there's 3 of them, X, my niece, my sister, and the ghost that X ordered for 4. So now there's 4 people, divide by 2. And I just paid for my bill. And I looked at X and I said, you just were very self-serving in how you handled all of it. You didn't care about the budget. X ordered like extra this and extra that. You know what I mean? They're just like so inconsiderate. And I was like, how does this feel to sit here and watch other people pay for you, and the air feels awkward at the table, and you just ruined it for everybody? How does that feel for you? And I was getting more and more worked up as I was saying it. I was like, you know what, never mind. And they didn't say anything, X. Then it was time for me and my sister to go to the restroom, and I said to her, I'm sorry if I made things awkward for everybody. I know how you guys are. You would rather pretend something's not happening, bend over and take it in the butt. And my sister said, no, I'm glad you talked. You are X's family member as well. And this is what we go through here all the time. So I'm glad you spoke up. It's about time X heard it all. Well, now you know. At a different time, I talked to my niece about the same thing, addressed it. And my niece said, no, actually, I just try to limit the time that I'm around X, because there's a lot of being used that goes on. I tell you this part so that you know that I felt validated that I spoke up, because it was what I thought it was. It was awkward for everybody. But X. Then, this was last year, right? November. This year, even while we were there, then there was a trip that was planned by my niece and my sister. They really went all out. They planned a trip out of town for all of us, including X. And X canceled last minute. No, I'm not going to come. Actually, I had talked to my niece prior to when she was making the arrangements about this trip. And I was like, so it's going to be a girls' trip, but you're going to bring X, who's not a girl. We already established that by now. I was like, no offense, but I feel like that's going to like do something to the dynamic of the group. I guess I wasn't feeling that. And I said, but fine, go ahead, who cares, whatever. Then, luckily, last minute, X was like, guys, I'm not gonna come. One of the reasons I was not feeling it, probably, if I were to be my own lawyer, was the fact that X is gonna make it all about them and ruin it just like they did the dinner, that it was not for them. And then the last minute, X was like, no, I'm not going to be able to. And we're like, what? And they were like, no, I'm not going to come, you guys. And I thought, oh, this is, thank God. Then we left, and then we came back, and I would try to speak to X and whatever. I'm very sensitive to the room, the temperature in the room. I can pick it up if it shifts, etc. Then now I'm back in America, 2023. Hey. And my relationship with X didn't change as far as I'm concerned. We're still besties. We check on each other, blah, blah, blah. I remember one day X was telling me about that they're going through thoughts and just deep, dark stuff. And I talked about something that I had to deal with and continue to have to deal with, and how, just as a bonding moment, it's not something I talk about, but I used it as a card to make this person feel like, hey, we all have our fair share. And the way that they handled it, they were so judgmental of the person I was 30 years ago. And it was so like creepy how they reacted. And it was full of hatred. And I thought, wow, this person, how could they say this? Especially in a moment where I'm actually doing this for them. This is basically a gift for them. I put myself on the line and my vulnerability for them. And they took it and they stabbed me right in the chest with it, looking me straight in the eye, smiling. It hurt. And I thought, whoa, wow, it really, but I didn't know, I was thrown so all the way off that I couldn't even, I remember telling a family member, wow, this is what happened. And that family member was like, why would you open up about something like that? I would never. I mean, of course, that's another judgmental. Now we got 2 steps, right? Okay. Then a year went on and I would just notice, I didn't notice that much, but X is narcissistic. So I would be like, I haven't talked to them in a while, and I'll check up on them. And then they'll just send me 40 voice messages, 40 videos and messages and whatever, just talking about themselves nonstop. And I'm thinking to myself, you had this much to talk about yourself and I'm the one who's checking up on you? What the fuck? And I'll try to be cool about it because I am also in the process of getting better as a person. Then cut to this. And then now I'm planning another trip to South Africa. I sent a voice message to everybody when I had finally booked my ticket. Everybody responded. Everybody was excited. And they were like, let us know if there's anything we can do. Let's, schedule-wise, et cetera, et cetera. No word from X, but you could see that they read the message. And I thought, And then I sent another message about something else regarding to the trip, nothing. And then I thought, And then I sent a message recommending a book to everybody, and everybody responded, and everybody, including X, said thanks. So then I sent another message, a voice message saying to X, I'm very hurt that you, this is really rubbing me. I'm very hurt that you are just blue ticking my messages, which means they're read, and are just not even bothered about how I could be feeling. I thought we're good. It's their problem, blah, blah, blah. They didn't respond to that. I said, please let me know. Let's work it through if there is a problem. They didn't even respond to that either. And I thought, wow, something really is going on. So I started asking other people, is there a problem? And one thing about me, I noticed this was such a trigger. This whole thing was such a trigger because I noticed that there's always a time when I'm sending messages to family members trying to find out why somebody is not talking to me or responding to our messages. And always, nobody knows. It made me feel like maybe these people don't value me as much as I do. They're always putting me through this thing of always chasing after them, trying to find out. And also, maybe this is not a group of people that's good at communication. To be honest, I don't know why I'm doing this now. Apologize. And I'm thinking maybe, we could, as a family, work on communication, because why am I always being iced? Why can't somebody just come to me and talk to me about what the problem is? Because being iced... Anyway, then I sent one more message to X saying, less than a month before I come to South Africa. I sent it to everybody, including X. Because in my mind, I'm like, X is a very easygoing guy who we all get along with, very fun, very this, very that, doesn't take themselves seriously, which is wild that they're going through. It just doesn't track. Maybe I don't know X as much as I think I do. And X responded with a long message saying, hey, you know me, I love those kinds of trips. I guess now they responded to the message from September. This is now almost November, right? Hey, you know me, I love those kinds of trips. But to be honest with you, last time when you were here, you made me feel like shit when you started complaining when I was... when we were all at the restaurant, and I was, even the server heard that you were complaining. I'm thinking, I don't give a fuck about the neighbor. I don't give a fuck about you. You just put me through the ringer right now. Like, now you want to tell me how you fucking feel a year later? Now that it's less than a month, you know why I'm getting fucking frustrated. It's less than a month before I come to South. Let me tell you what happened. Then they were like, when you were complaining there, but you knew, I thought that everybody understood that I didn't have money. And when you started complaining, you were like, you're not paying for my alcohol in the way that you said it, and blah, 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 blah. So, gaslighting me, basically. You want me to apologize for telling you that I'm not paying for your alcohol? I wasn't paying for your alcohol. I wouldn't pay for alcohol. I'm not paying for alcohol. I didn't pay for alcohol. I'm not apologizing for that. Why the fuck are you an alcoholic when you're unemployed? What the fuck? This doesn't track. Get a fucking job. Didn't say that. Would have loved to. That's why we're here talking, because I bottled it up. And I was going to say something. Oh, and then I'm thinking to myself, it's less than a month. Now they're realizing, fuck, she's coming. And I'm going to stay where he's staying because he's still a bum. Allegedly, he has a job now. But you're still staying with other people and probably not paying your share of rent because you're still narcissistic and you're still a bum. So now he's probably thinking, shit, she's coming. I mean, I better fucking try to clear the air or something. That's what I think. Because why are you all of a sudden just responding to things from so long ago? You made me feel like shit. That's why I canceled from going to the other trip. I'm thinking, thank God. That's why they wouldn't go with us out of town, ex. I'm like, I just wanted to say something so passive-aggressive. Oh, and then he said, I was so happy that day. I was going through, which I still am. And then they put an emoji there, just like creeper vibes. And he's like, I was so happy that day. It's just like really manipulative, someone telling you, you made me feel bad because I'm going through it. And that day I was happy because my family had taken me out. Your family was not taking you out. Your family was taking me out. The whole thing is based on delusions of grandeur. And he's like, so I really was just hurt by that. That's why I wasn't talking to you. I'm thinking to myself, you weren't not talking to me. You bombarded me with messages, just using me. It felt like a rape. So, okay. I had so much to say. Because this is not a high caliber of a human being. I didn't think so before. But now, you're really just adding to your low caliber, low vibration type personality that I already profiled you to be with the way that you're telling me all of this, especially because you just hurt me and now you're hurting me again. So I'm thinking I have zero respect for this loser, especially because now I'm hurt. If you had come to me to tell me this before hurting me, you did all these passive-aggressive things throughout the whole year, judging me about things from long ago that really hurt me, that left a stain. Oh, so I thought, I have so many things to say. Then I went and I punched on an app how to respond to this, and the app said, I'm sorry you felt that way. I apologize. I'm here. Let's work. I value you as a person, and let's work on our relationship. I never would have said that, but I was like, you know what? Because I have no respect for this person, I'm going to copy exactly what the app said and paste it on the thing. And I did, and then the person, ex continued to just like, hey. Oh, then they didn't say anything. And I thought, okay. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to unsend this message because I really don't mean any of this. It's not like I don't mean it. I didn't say it. The app said it. Then time went on and on and on throughout the day, and I was just so bugged. And then I sent messages saying to ex, you know what, maybe we can get better at communicating things and not let things fester for the whole year. And also, I feel like it's a low-hanging fruit for my family to always be icing me. Maybe I am a trigger for the whole family. I was just so hurt, and I think that I was trying to display that hurt. And I sent a few messages, and ex responded with, it's cool. I thought, wow, what the fuck? Then I tried to call them to find out what is it that is cool. And they didn't pick up, and the ex sent me a message saying, hey, I can't talk right now. I'm downtown. And I thought, you're downtown? It was 7 a.m. here. You just ruined my whole entire day. I am always hormonal, and usually I do these recordings when I'm just before my period because it's usually the toughest time for me emotionally. And I was just crying and feeling so betrayed and so triggered and remembering every time that this has happened with my family. At one point, my mom wasn't taking my calls and I didn't know, and I was calling everybody. At another point, one of my other families, maybe 4 people at this point, at different times, one of them hadn't even talked to me for 2 years, and I thought we were best friends. So I was like, I started thinking, I'm paying $1,000 for the flight to South Africa to see these fucking people. And at one point or another, 50% of them have put me through the ringer and triggered me in the worst possible way. Why am I doing this? There are so many other places I could have gone for $1,000 and have the best time of my life. It did make me look at that's one of the things that are good that come out of going through such a hard emotional time for me. It's getting clarity and being like, I'm not going to feel this way again. I'm not going to let myself. Whether that by clarity, I mean putting a wall up and just not letting people in further than that wall. It's fine. I'm going to be protected inside. Shit. You use what you can. Wow, the jacket has been sitting there for months. I need to put it away. Then I was like, okay. Later on that day, I don't know if I should add the other part. So I talked to somebody who's like, okay, I don't want to add this other thing to this. I want to finish. Later on that day, X says to me, hey, I accept your apology. And I thought, what apology? The one from the app that I forgot about because I didn't say it. Accept your apology. I love you too. I always love you. And I thought to myself, well, you have a weird way of showing it. I'd rather you hate me, etc., etc., etc. And then, bullshit. And then X said, I have something to tell you about my job that you're going to be so proud of me. And I thought, now here we go again. Now we're going to talk about you. You don't care about how I feel, my feelings, and what I went through. And the fact that I poured my heart out to you at some point, you're disregarding all of that. Now you got your apology, which, what the fuck? How does this track? How is an apology to you the solution for this whole thing? What the fuck? And they were like, yeah, okay, so I will call you tomorrow. I'm thinking, you will not fucking call me tomorrow. In fact, you can call me tomorrow. They've tried, but we're not going to be talking on the phone tomorrow. I'm not ready. What the fuck? I've been trying to get a hold of you, and now you want to talk to me? They're like, love you. Oh my God, are you watching the game on TV? Oh my God. And it's just like, wow, now we're besties? And now you're going to call me tomorrow? This person is such a user. Like, you think that you're outsmarting everybody? I'm thinking to myself, I'm coming to the country. And when I was there, I brought, because I have my store, my eBay store, the Lovely Brook, My Brook, and Tracker Brook. I have 3 stores. Actually, about 5 or 6. I'm thinking, oh man, I have to suck up to this person before she comes here, before she gets on that plane, so that she can bring me stuff. Like, that's what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking that's how you are as a person. That's the stuff that tracks. And then they said, imagine if I was talking to somebody on the phone about this. It would have been a real long phone call. I don't think people sit around and listen to me being so long-winded anyway. I really don't believe it. I think what they do is they multitask. They put me on speaker and they leave the phone in one room and let me talk to myself. That's what I believe. This is why I have no friends. Because I say this because when they do respond, they will sound like they don't know. They're giving me a blanket response that's not really based on anything specific that I said, which I'm like, oh, okay. They didn't listen to the whole story. Which then leads me to me blocking them in the future when they least expect it. Maybe I'm not that different from X. So I was like, oh, what is that? Don't be mold. I can't have mold. I'm in the fucking desert. Well, I can. Why wouldn't I? No, it's not. I hope. So X was like, I'll call you tomorrow. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. You're going to love this. I'm thinking to myself, why would, fuck off. What? What a self-serving. So I responded to that. Go to sleep, because time difference. I was like, go to sleep. And they were like, love you. And I was like, I love you more. And they said, oh my God, you're making me blush. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? I'm being fake. You jackass. I hate people who can't read a room. Why would you think I'd be loving you more at this particular time? After everything you went me through. When you didn't take any ownership of what the fuck you did to me. And I said, I've asked you so many times about your job and you never told me. Go to sleep. Meaning, now you want to call me and talk. I don't want to hear it. That's what I meant. But I don't think, this is somebody who can read the room. And this is also somebody who is parasitic. So they're going to turn around and take, and do what they want, regardless of what you think and what your feelings. Fuck your feelings is what's going on here. Then I went to sleep and I woke up the following day, lived my life. And then as I'm winding down, getting ready to go to sleep, I get a message from them. Guess what? I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe they're about to tell me about their job. And they kept typing. And I'm like, what are they going to say? I'm not going to open this message, but I want to see the preview. And they opened up about something so traumatic that they witnessed when they were kids. And it was so traumatic. I'm still so traumatized, right? I feel like I'm in this toxic relationship. It took me back to the time I was with my most toxic ex, and I've been in some toxic relationships. One of the reasons I'm having much more fun having been single for several years than I was in any of the relationships I was ever in. They just sucked. So healing is a process, right? And it took me back to that time where the roller coaster of emotions is not warranted. I'm thinking, wow, I'm still trying to digest and process everything that you put me through, plus your reaction to it. Now you're trauma dumping on me? What the fuck? And why is this being sent to me via text? Why did I not get a trigger warning? Why are you not checking on me to see how I'm doing emotionally first before you dump this on me? I probably sound like just as much of a self-standard myself with this reaction. But that's how I felt and continue to feel. So I still didn't open those messages officially, and because I don't know what to say. It was too much for one person. I tried to call, since this weekend since he responded, I tried to call 3 family members. I called the one person who said, in fact, I texted them. I said, can you talk? Because I was checking the room. I knew that it was going to be a low vibration shit. So I was like, can you talk? They said, I'm at a picnic. I will call you tomorrow. I said, no, don't call me tomorrow. Because I didn't want to deal with it over time. I wanted to talk that day and put it behind me. So I texted another person who really couldn't talk, but they made time and they talked. So I really appreciated that. I talked, I cried and whatever. I was lucky to have had that moment. And this person said, my time is very limited, because they really couldn't talk. I knew that. And they said, let's talk tomorrow. I said, I don't want to deal with this again tomorrow. I want to move on from now on. And they said, no, we can talk about anything, but please, let's talk tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow. I think I have other ideas. I said, okay. They said, if you want to talk about it, we can touch on it, but I have other ideas, and let's just talk. We can talk about light things tomorrow. Tomorrow was yesterday. Then tomorrow I wake up at 5 a.m. They send me a text as I wake up saying, hey, I can't talk today. Like, what the fuck? I didn't want to talk. This was your fucking idea. So now I set my mind ready to that, and now you're telling me no. They're like, I won't be able to talk today. It's not a big deal. They said, not a big deal. Enjoy, have a nice day. And I thought, what the fuck? And this person fucked right off. I thought, wow, that was a paradigm shift. By the way, I don't really know what that means. Kind of do, but I don't. I know it doesn't fit here. Then I had tried to call somebody else who didn't pick up the call, didn't text back to say, why did you call? Is everything okay? Or nothing. That whole thing was just ignored. And then I chatted with that person all day yesterday about other things that benefit them. So this person would respond right away. They were very available. It's hard for me not to use all of these actions from people to then push them away from me. Because how are you not finding out if I'm okay and why did I call? Then I tried calling them again today, FaceTime audio, which is not something I usually do with people in South Africa. And they didn't pick up. Then I tried calling them regular. And they picked up right away and said, hello, sounded angry. And I said, can you talk? I couldn't sleep last night with the imagery of the trauma of the explanation of the story that was dumped upon me. It's been rough. And this person said, today now, I was like, can you talk? And the person said, no. I sent you a message. I don't have the message. So I don't know what they're talking about. I was like, okay, cool. They didn't ask, are you okay? Quickly or whatever. Couldn't give a fuck. To be honest, I'm still trying to figure out, is it too late to cancel this trip to South Africa? Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Okay. That's what happened this morning. And now at this point, we're doing this recording because it's 5:30 and I have no one to talk to. These are the people who always say, I'm here if you ever need anybody, please. People are lying. They're not there for you. Where? You're there for me to give you shit. Anyway, that's the story. And thank you for listening. Goodbye.